I want to do some hand-painted sign writing on a Dooraveld flytrap here. Now normally you would think that's quite a daunting task, but I'm going to show you how you can cheat and easily do this yourself. Any letters, any font, even graphics if you want. Coming right up. So the modern way to get sign writing on here would be go to one of these graphics companies and they will design it for you and then print it, and then it'll be stickers that they will apply for you and it'll all look very smart and very perfect. But that's not what we want. It doesn't fit the rest of the build. It's not old school. We like old school. So yeah, first prize would be to find an old school sign writer that can hand paint it for you, professional. Well, here in my area, I can't find anyone like that. Those guys are becoming very difficult to find. And it's one of those dying trades, I guess. So we have to come up with a way to do it ourselves, because we want it hand painted for that old school touch. And here is our secret weapon. It's one of those projectors. So like most everything I own, a little dusty and a little old, but like most everything I own, it still works just fine. You've got to find one of these, beg, borrow and steal, because that is going to allow us to do this. Now this is of course connected to my laptop, and I think you know what this means. So I've got the projector set up here so that it projects the screen of my laptop onto the door. And now let's see if we type any letter here. Let's go fly trap. You can see it's being projected onto the door. How cool is that? I can change the font if I want to the font of my liking. Let's try something else. What about this one? There we go. We can change the size of it by going here to the font size. I suppose I must select it first. Let's make it a bit bigger. Go font size and we try one size bigger. Now it's a little bit bigger. I can also position it by playing with my projector and moving it away or closer. So this now gives me the opportunity to put it exactly where I want and the size that I want. So yeah, that's quite cool, but I would like to add a bit of graphics as well and have more than just letters. So here's the design I came up with. What do you think of that? Now I can decide what size I want it. I can also decide about the positioning. That's definitely too small. Move it down a little bit. I think something like this could work. You must now decide how big you want it and position it. You can also, like I said, move your projector around a little bit to put it exactly where you want. Now, how did I do this design? And now where did I get the graphics for my little flies? One sitting there on the F and another bigger one. Let me show you. So go to Google or whatever browser you use and type in Canva, Canva, and go to canva.com, and this is where you will land. It's a free to use online graphic design tool, and you can create all sorts of things with it. You can see whiteboards, presentations, social, videos, etc, etc. I use it, for instance, to create the thumbnails for my videos. So if you don't have an account, you would need to sign up. You click there, sign up, and create an account so that you can use it. So here you can see me log into my account. Here's a bunch of the designs that I've used or created recently. Let's create a design. Now you can see you get all sorts of options, flyer, presentation, etc. I can leave you to go and explore it, but let's say logo. Open a logo. I'll wait for that to load. I have a blank page in front of me. Let's select text here, and let's say add a heading. And now we can type what we'd like. Fly trap. We can make it bigger by just dragging it like this. I can position it if I want. I can change the font, go up here, and you see here on the left hand side all sorts of fonts that's available. Let's try this one for the sake of the exercise. And let's make it a little bit bigger. I'll move it down a little bit. So you can select all kinds of fonts, whichever one you would like. Now let's go to elements, and this is where we can add some graphics if we want. Let's search something. How about skull? And we search for skull, and we select graphics. And now we get all sorts of options. You can see here some of them has got a little crown next to them. That's the Pro version of Canva. So unless you purchased the Pro plan, you will not be able to use these, but we still have many options here. Let's take this one for instance. And there's my skull. Make it a bit smaller. Put it wherever I want to. Let's put it down there. And there I've created the design. Change the color of this if we want. We go there to text color. Let's make it red. We can change this fellow's color as well if we want. So you can see there's all sorts of options available. The program automatically save your design. It's named at Flytrap by default, and that little arrow up there tells me all changes are saved. Let's go back home to my home. There's my Flytrap design that I'm going to use on the door. Open that quickly. And there you can see that. This is the design that I've created with this program. There's my fly graphic. I could move it around if I want. And I've created this whole design. I can make it a little bit bigger here. Using a free online graphic design tool. How awesome is that? Now there's lots of options with this tool, but I'm not going to talk too much about it. If you're interested, canva.com, sign up, and there's lots of things that you can do. You can teach yourself to use this little program to create the graphics and the sign writing of your choice. It looks like the projector is causing a little bit of flickering here on the camera. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how to get rid of that. But I think now that is the design that I would like. I'm happy with the size. Let me zoom in a little bit. So I think, yes, this is what I would like painted on my door. Off to the next step, or on to the next step rather. So I'm going to trace my design onto the door now. In my case, I've got quite a dark background, so I'm using a bit of chalk. But if you've got a light or white background, you could use a pencil or a Sharpie, permanent marker, whatever works for you. So yeah, it's going to take a bit of time for me to just trace this, but you see that I'm getting the idea. I'm just going to continue to trace my whole design onto the door. And now, of course, if you do the tracing, you got to stay out of the, so we call it the beam of the projector. You can see my beard there. And yeah, if you go in front of it, the picture is gone. Now we can just see my tracing. Okay, I've traced all the outlines. Let's switch the projector off and see what's left. Just some chalk marks. The paint I'm going to use is this oddball collection of whatever I could find on my shelf. It's mostly quick dry enamel or tractor paint. And I see I've got a bit of Duco as well. I don't have white for the wings, so I'm going to have to make do with this beige that I've got here. So this fly is going to have beige wings. I don't have very fancy brushes, but this is what I have. This is what we'll use. So my plan is to actually, what you see that is now done in chalk, I'm going to come with a black paint later and outline it with black. If you're not sure, you just reference back to your design on a laptop. So I am not a professional signwriter or an artist, but I'm just kind of trying to not go over the lines and we'll see how it turns out. Just referring here back to my original design, and I see the eyes here as a sort of a purplish pinkish color. I've got some red, so I'm going to make a red-eyed fly. The red I've got is not in a very good condition. At the state of the tin, this paint must be very old. I think after this exercise, it will need to depart from my world. When it's skimmed over, it's so thick, I don't even know if it's going to work. I use these bottle caps as mini containers for mixing in small quantities of paint. Yeah, and it works really well. So I got the eyes done in some sort of fashion. I took some of the beige there and mixed it with a bit of red to get that pink there. Yeah, it's not exactly a work of art, but it's how it's going to turn out. So the body of this bee, not bee, it's a freaking fly. What is that color? How do you describe it? It's like I don't know, maybe blue with a touch of red in it to make a kind of a purpley shade. I don't know, I'm not an artist. I've got some silver paint. I'm going to make my fly silver. Silver paint, let's see how this is going to turn out. Yeah, I'm not convinced about that silver, but I'm going to let that dry and work on my letters in the meantime. So this is just the color I had here. So I'm going to use this for my letters. And now if you're a pro, I'm sure you could use a much bigger brush than me. But this is the brush I have, so it will do. I'll just go at it slowly but surely. Try not to go over the lines too much. I think my paint is a little thick. I think I need to add just a little bit of thinness to it. Then it will just flow better. And I'm starting this side because I'm left-handed. So it will just work out better for me to start on this end. You can see I'm not a pro at this, but yeah, let's see how it turns out. All else fails and it looks terrible, we can just sand it off. Yeah, I think I need to thin my paint a little bit. So lesson learned, yeah, if the paint is too thick, it's just a struggle. So it works well to just thin it a little bit with some thinners. Then it just flows a bit better. If you are an accomplished signwriter or an artist, don't laugh at my techniques here. This is the best I can do. Yeah. Brush techniques and all of that stuff, eh? Well, you gotta start somewhere. At least I'm trying. I think when I outline it, because I'm planning to outline this, I think maybe with white, that will make it pop and look a lot better. Now doing these outlines with a black line, that's the most difficult part for sure. This is the best crappy thin brush I've got. So we'll try our best. I don't know, maybe my lines are too thick, but this is what I can do. Requires a steady hand, which I don't know if I'm that steady. But if we don't try, we'll never know. So I'm just gonna give it my best shot, and then we see how it turns out. I imagine if you've got a proper brush, that will make a big difference. I see these pinstriping guys and signwriting guys have all got these very nice brushes. Yeah. Those pinstriping guys that do the pinstriping by hand, I mean, they are incredibly good. That is a skill, eh? I'm always amazed and in awe when I see them at work. So if you can do that, please don't laugh at my feeble attempts here. So I've decided that my letters here should be outlined with white to make them pop more. So I scratched around some more in my shop, and then I actually found some white paint. So now it's just a question of trying to do this as steadily as possible, which is kind of challenging, to say the least. But we try our best, like I keep saying. This must be easier if you've got the right brushes and the right paint. But for now I will just struggle along. Yeah, then of course this happens. So I'm just going to try and clean that with a rag and start again. Well, I can always also repair it with some blue paint here on the inside of my white line, which I think I'm going to have to do here. I got my white lines done, and here from up close it looks pretty horrible. Cheap paint, so it doesn't cover very well. And then of course shaky lines due to lack of operator skill. However, if we move away a little bit, it does start looking better. And then if we move away even further, yes, it starts looking better now. I think we can call it a 6-foot artwork. Don't go closer than 6 foot. And there you have it, man. Flytrap is now officially signwritten. And considering the odds, I think it turned out pretty good. Much better than I actually expected. So using this method, give it a shot, man. Don't maybe try it on a multi-gazillion dollar paint job if it's your first time, but if you're building a rat rod, you haven't really got much to lose, eh? I mean, if it doesn't work out, worst case scenario, you can just sand it all off, wipe it off with thinners, and try again. So go beg, borrow or steal a projector somewhere, create some artwork on your laptop. If it's just fonts or written, pick the font you like. You can add a few graphics if you want, like I did with the flies. And then you can project it wherever you want. It doesn't have to be on the door, it can be on the hood or on the back of your truck or wherever. And give it a try. Hey, and you know what? We are leaving for Pandemonium tomorrow. I can't wait. So we will see you on a road trip to that secret location in the desert for some racing and camping and all sorts of crazy fun. Have a lucky one, my brothers and my awesome sisters, and thank you for watching.
Whatever makes you happy, it just depends on you. So think of